In this video, we're going to show you how to install the hood release cable on your Jeep Grand Cherokee located on the driver's side kick panel. We're going to start by removing our grille. On our particular vehicle, we have 1/4-inch screws across the top securing ours. Whatever you have on yours, go ahead and grab the tool to do that and remove these. Across the bottom of the grille, you can have 3 more pieces or 3 more screws or plastic inserts to go ahead and remove. Our particular vehicle has 8mm screws across the bottom. Once you have the hardware removed, go ahead and remove the grille. You want to remove our latch from the radiator support here. It's 13mm nuts on there. We're going to use a gear wrench on there. Now, before you remove your latch completely, you can use a crayon or something to mark where the hood latch is. On our particular latch, you can see where the washers are for the bolt heads or for the nuts themselves. So we'll know exactly where we have to line up this latch upon installation. You can see the circular pattern on here where the washers line up. So when we reinstall this here, we're just going to line up the washer heads on both sides so we know that we have the same spot on there. Now on the back side, I want to go ahead and remove the cable end from the hood release. There's just this little barrel end here. You can push this up, push this over, and release that barrel end. Feed that back and through and set that latch aside. I want to start to feed our cable through into the engine compartment. Now we're going to use our needle nose pliers to try and release our plastic retainers here. Now they are brittle. And once you have these pulled out, you can open these up and work them off of the factory cable. Now if yours are in still good condition, or still in good condition, you can go ahead and reuse these, install them onto the new cable. And we're going to follow this back, and there's a couple more of these plastic retainers along the fender we want to remove. Let's go ahead and pull our cable out. Being careful that it doesn't get caught on any of the electrical wires. Now we're pretty much separated from everything underneath the hood. It goes through a rubber grommet into the passenger compartment. So let's go into the passenger compartment and work on the cable from that side. Now I want to go ahead and pull this panel off. In order to do so, we want to go ahead and pull off the side trim panel here first. Use your trim tool. Go ahead and twist that up and give it a pull. Pop that up and off. I'm just going to pop this off here. Now if you follow this down, there's going to be a Phillips head screw inside here. There's going to be a couple of those running through. Let's go ahead and loosen those. Now on the inside here, We have 3 T30 Torx bit screws. Let's go ahead and loosen and remove those. On the front side of it, we have a wiring harness that comes through, so we're just going to use our trim tool to pop that off. If we follow this up, there's rubber grommet up on the back side here. We can use a flathead screwdriver. Use a flathead screwdriver just to get behind the rubber grommet. We want to peel that out. If you can't get it from that side there, we're going to go from the engine compartment and try and push that through. Take the cable end, we're going to feed that up into the firewall hole. Now we're just going to get that started. We're going to go up into the engine compartment and pull that cable through. As we come through, we're going to come to our rubber grommet here, and we're basically just going to grab the end of the rubber grommet here and pull it through until it pops in and seals into the body itself. So I'm going to grab it on the base of that rubber and just gently wiggle it and rotate it, and you can feel it pop into place. It's fully seated right there. I'm going to go back into the inside of the vehicle. We have our component right here, and it comes with 3 10mm screws. Let's go ahead and line this up. We have our wiring harness here that has a little tree on it. We want to go ahead and pop that into that. And then go ahead and line up our bracket onto the kick panel. I'm going to use our 10mm socket here. Let's go ahead and get these started. Once we have all 3 started, let's go ahead and snug those down. And once those are bottomed out, you'll feel them snug down. Give that a little wiggle. We're going to push our cable handle back in. When I install our lower kick panel trim, there's a metal tab here that locks into the portion up top here by the release handle. Let's go ahead and fit this up into place. Pop that in. Go ahead and get our trim installed. Get our screws started. And go ahead and get those screws snugged down into place. We have 3 of those there. Well, we have all 3 of those installed. We have our step panel here. Go ahead and insert our metal tabs into place. Make sure our carpet is tucked in. The interior section is done. Let's go back to underneath the hood. Now we have to run our hood release cable along the wiring harness up against the firewall here. So go ahead and just kind of bend that around, get that routed through. I'm going to feed this through. feed this underneath here. Let's install this into our hood release. So we're going to feed the cable end through. You can see that it's shaped so you can fit the cable through, and then we're going to pull it up into that notch. But let's feed that in, hook it up first. Get the barrel end in there. We're going to pull this back through just to the notch in the plastic barrel end here, and then push it up into place. So that's what it should look like. We can lower our hood release down into place onto the two studs and install the nuts. Then you can take your gear wrench. We're going to snug these down. Key point here is when you're securing those nuts, you want to either go by the crayon markings that you did prior or watch for where the washers on the nuts were set into place to make sure you get the proper latch placement here. So go ahead and secure those nuts. Make sure they're good and tight. Now at this point here, you want to go ahead and anchor down the cable itself. Now if your plastic retainers broke like ours did, you can go ahead and use some plastic wire ties or whatever. We happen to run ours right along a harness that had factory tape and everything on it, so it's actually securing our cable in place, but it's always good to keep that out of the way and anchor that down. Now let's line up our grill. Now I'm just going to start to get these lower screws lined up and get them in a few threads. Not going to secure them at this point. With those started, let's come on up top and we can install our screws up top. Once you have all those installed, you can go ahead and snug those down. You want to be careful while tightening these here. You do not want to over tighten them and crack the grill, so you just want to make them snug. Go ahead and tighten up the 3 across the bottom. Once these are all tight, we can go ahead and close the hood, and you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.